Kyle, I don't know if you saw it. Actually, I do know you saw it.
I was going to say.
Everybody saw it. The Jameson Williams clip that went around yesterday at training camp of Rock Ya-Sin trying to guard him on the goal line during some red zone drills. And Jameson Williams runs one of those routes. It's a training camp route that just everyone loses their mind. And anyone that was in attendance at Allen Park yesterday also lost their minds. You can hear it in the background. We're finally starting to get some real reason to believe in Jameson Williams. Not that there wasn't reason before, but it was all just quotes, like Johnny Morton saying wanted to isolate him more, to have more one-on-one looks. Said he was going to be unbelievable this year back in OTAs. MCDC has said he's beginning to tap into what he really is. He's leading the young guys. Then Brian Branch yesterday after practice just says, get your popcorn ready for Jameson Williams. The hype train is moving very fast with JMO. And I'm starting to ask myself the question, what is this guy's ceiling? And I don't want anyone to forget, this guy was drafted by Brad Holmes to be the number one receiver at some point. Right? I don't think they trade up in the first round to draft their second first-round pick of the year after Hutchinson to take a guy if their plan isn't for him to one day be the number one receiver. Now, obviously, when they drafted him, they didn't understand Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to be a back-to-back first-team all-pro type of guy. So, no, Jameson Williams probably isn't going to be the number one option for the Lions this season. But with that being said, what this guy's ceiling really is, I don't know if I have a historical comparison for it. Breaking out into top 10, top 15 receiver in year 4, it just doesn't really happen. Because you can go through it, 2022, 1 reception on the entire year, recovering from an ACL injury most of the time. The second season, 2023, has the suspension, has the preseason injury, just kind of derailed the entire season, finishes with 350 yards total. And then 2024, last year, breaks out 1,000 yards. I guess at this point, I'd be pretty shocked if he didn't have another 1,000-yard season. It feels like he has completely turned himself into a not just a deep threat, not just someone you want to put on crossers, but you watch that route of just the precision and the route running and the footwork. And you guys can go find it on YouTube or go find it on Twitter or Instagram. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I wish I would have pulled it up to play it on the stream. I mean, it was...
I've watched it probably a dozen times by now.
Well, and I think the big part is like the reaction to it. I mean, all the beat reporters basically were like, yeah, he's been doing this all week. Like this is the play that everybody's talking about, but this is nothing new. This is what he's been doing all of training camp so far, stuff like this. This is just the first one that's gotten on social media.
And if he's going to be this like precision route runner, I don't know if anybody can do it. Obviously. I don't know if anybody can do it the way Amon-Ra does, but if he can unlock that part of his game, tapped into the speed, he has a short game, an intermediate game, he can get him on the outsides, over the middle, over the top. All of a sudden, I'm looking at this like, what is this guy's ceiling going into this year? I don't think it's all that off the table from a pure talent standpoint, not in terms of yards, not in terms of touchdowns, although those things might help his argument.
I was about to say the touchdowns for sure.
I don't know if it's off the table for us to be talking about him with the likes of other guys who are fringe top 10 receivers. You said yesterday, Devontae Adams, kind of a borderline top 10 receiver at this point. Maybe could sneak his way back in. I don't see why J-Mo couldn't sneak back into that conversation too. Or not that he was ever there, but...
Well, I mean, even like Allen Robinson goes on First Take a week ago and says that St. Brown and J-Mo are the best wide receiver duo in the league. And even I, as a Lions fan, was like, whoa. Like, I have not even thought about that.
And that's a guy who saw it firsthand last year.
Yeah, and then he immediately, off that clip of J-Mo, quoted that on Twitter last night and was like, I told y'all they're the best receiver duo in the league.
Well, the other ones that would come to mind are...
I mean, Jamar and T. Higgins are the best.
They've got the crown for now.
Yes. I think that's pretty undebatable, I would say.
Puka and Devontae Adams fighting for the crown.
Absolutely. And then it
becomes
J-Mo, right? And then it becomes
like
do you count like Tyreek and Waddle are definitely still a pretty good duo? Do you count Jefferson and Addison just because of how good Jefferson is? You know, like that stuff like that starts to come into play.
J-Mo is a clearly better receiver than Addison.
I would totally agree.
So I would rather have that duo.
Yeah, if we're actually ranking the duos themselves, yes, I would say so too.
And I'm going to be somewhat dismissive of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think Jameson Williams is just straight up a better receiver than Jalen Waddle. I think
Really? At this
Jalen
point
Waddle's
right
been
now?
somewhat of a disappointment in his
Yeah,
career.
he has. I mean, as obviously both coming from Bama, the speed aspect is the big part of both of their games, even though Waddle's a more of the middle of the field guy. Jamo's the deep threat guy. But yeah,
Waddle's not the route runner that it looks like Jamo might have turned into this offseason.
So going back to your training camp awards things, let's add an award, and it's just the training camp darling, the highlight guy, just the dude that everybody's talking about.
Well,
Is
we had that
Jameson
award.
Williams,
It was Terrion for MVP.
oh, you're counting that though as that.
It's training
Okay.
camp MVP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has Jameson Williams taken over as the odds-on winner, odds-on favorite? Because the way that he got talked about yesterday on Twitter was higher than anything Terry and Arnold's been talked about so far this offseason. I would say so. That was the most hype any Lions player has gotten via social media so far yet during camp.
When we did the MVP, Terrion was plus 350. Davenport was plus 500. Jack Campbell was plus
We didn't even
650.
have Jamo.
Giovanni Manu was plus 700. Jamo wasn't even odds listed. But yeah, it's pretty hard to say
Wow.
Jamo's not the favorite to win the training camp MVP right
That's how
now.
much this stuff changes, man.
It feels like him and Amon-Ra are a lot closer to each other now than they ever have before. Obviously, like they're going to keep growing closer and closer. And I don't mean off the field. I'm sure that could be true too. But I mean in terms of talent. Because, again, Jamo was drafted here to be that top guy. Like, that was the intention when they drafted him. And then a bunch of stuff happens, the injury, the suspensions, another injury, some of the clips that went viral, like somewhat of a loose cannon at the beginning of his career. But by all accounts, from Dan Campbell and the rest of the coaching staff, this guy's got his head on right now and is completely focused, and they've got him reeled in, and now it's all about football. Right? We said our number one wish for Jameson Williams this training
Have
camp.
a full year of just nothing else. Yeah.
I don't want to hear about anything besides football.
Right.
And that's been the case so far. It's really early on, but hey, there's a game in 2 days. He's certainly not going to be playing in it. But we've made it this far without hearing anything about him. That's somewhat of a victory of itself. It does feel like Jamo's ceiling now is on the level of, they're totally different players, but like a T. Higgins complementary role of Jamar Chase.
Like one of those guys that you always hear the conversation with T. Higgins, like if he was the wide receiver one on a different team, you hear that all the time, which totally, T. Higgins would be the wide receiver one on a lot of teams. Maybe Jameson Williams throws his hand in that race a little bit this season. And I think it is important to be like, I know we keep bringing it up, but the fact that John Morton that's probably his most talked about guy.
Oh, yeah.
This is the new offensive coordinator. Like, I think that's pretty important to look at, right? I mean, he's very clearly impressed by Jameson Williams' game and wants to get him even more involved than he has been the last couple of years with the Lions. And he's been like the main trick play guy. So I think they really want to get him involved more in the middle of the field just so he can use his speed to his advantage even more. I can't wait, man. Jamo's been my favorite player on the Lions ever since he came through. He's just so lovable. Like, his character is just there's something about him, man. You're just attracted to him as far as, like, just how cool he is.
He's a glowing personality.
Right, yeah. His personality is just so infectious,
And as much trouble he's found himself in the first couple of years of his career, no one ever questioned whether or not he was a good person.
Right. He just has made some poor decisions.
Yeah. Bad decision maker, great guy, maybe even an elite
hilarious
football player.
Like the clip of him and Kirby Joseph the other day talking about the land versus the water
what's cleaner,
thing.
the land?
What's cleaner, the ocean or the land? Whatever that was.
What?
They're just like, and they were so passionate about it. Oh, that's so funny. What is cleaner though?
The land.
Land's cleaner than the ocean?
I think so. I mean, like, think about like what happens when a shark like eats its prey, and then there's just fish guts and blood everywhere.
Right,
it just gets,
because that stuff doesn't happen on land, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Someone said something in that clip about the salt like cleaning things. And I was like, I think that might be a thing, but that also just might be made up.
I'm not a water expert. I don't really be knowing about the salt water, so.
No, I don't either. But hey, bottom line, recap the entire situation is, hey, Jamo might be really good this year, like really, really good. Is there a circumstance?
And that new number one too.
Is there a scenario where we're talking about him as one of the 5 best players on this team?
Ooh, I don't think so.
Panay, Hutch, locks.
The Lions are just too good.
Panay, Hutch, or
Hutch,
Jameer lock.
I think Branch is a lock too, personally.
That's 4.
That's 4. And then the 5 is like there's a lot of different ways you could go.
It'd be between Amon-Ra and J-Mo.
You got Kirby Joseph. You got Sam Laporta. You have DJ Reed / Terry and Arnold. What if one of them shines?
No.
You don't think so?
I think it's...
You don't think there's a chance that either of those guys could?
Not
what about
to
Alex
pass
Anzalone or Jack Campbell?
We've also just not mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I thought he was in it.
No. It's Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, and then...
Oh, no, the St. Brown's 5, obviously. Yeah, that top 5 is
So there's no circumstance where J-Mo can get himself into it.
I mean, I think that top 5 is probably untouchable, don't you?
Unless J-Mo goes for 1,300 and double-digit touchdowns.
And I hate how the conversation of J-Mo breaking out has to come at a cost. Like, I saw one of the bigger Lions pages on Twitter yesterday basically be like, I don't want to say who I think he passes this year. And then obviously reveals it in the comments, basically saying he's going to be better than St. Brown this year. It's like,
is it really that bad of a thing if they have similar stats? And
no,
Amon-Ra is always going to be a guy who gets more receptions, but they could have similar yards, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Similar yards and touchdowns. J-Mo could be the bigger threat in the end zone.
I'm just saying, why does it have to be, instead of saying J-Mo's going to be better than Amon-Ra, why can't we discuss it like how you and I have, where them as a duo is going to be top of the league this season? I don't get why it can't just be discussed that way.
I wouldn't be totally shocked if it was Amon-Ra led in receptions.
Yeah, which he
J-Mo led in touchdowns.
And potentially
similar yards.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about yesterday. I think there's a higher chance that J-Mo, which you said Laporta's going to have more yards than J-Mo. I think that's probably shifted in 24 hours later, right?
Yeah, it took me one training camp clip. It's oh my God.
I think there's a higher chance Jameson Williams leads the team in receiving yards than it is he's third on the team in receiving yards.
I will say this too, though. All the beat reporters down there basically saying Laporta's been unguardable. No one can stay with him at all.
Is that bad for the Lions' defense? It's always the tough part about training camp, right? A guy's going off. It's okay, but is that actually good or bad though?
I was reading one. I love reading everybody's training camp. Here's what we saw today. There's one that was even Brian Branch can't really slow down Laporta right now, which is saying something because Brian Branch is one of the best DBs in the league.
Right.
So it's that's
football is back, dude.
Yeah, 2 days.
Oh, I can't wait. I need to get a football sounder of someone just yelling football.
What do we got?
I'm gonna work on that.
Little Hendon Hooker versus
Taylor Heineke, right?
Taylor Heineke, yeah. But also, Hendon Hooker's been repping as the quarterback 3.
That's what I've been saying.
I don't love that.
Little Kyle Allen action.
I don't love. I'd rather just play Hendon Hooker the entire game. I think we know what Kyle Allen is at this point,
right? And we don't know what Hendon Hooker is.
Yeah, we have no idea. Really, could be a franchise quarterback for all we know, just sitting behind